I honestly feel about black women? First, I'm going to talk about my childhood and how I viewed black girls. As a little boy, I was never attracted to black girls. And I'd say the reason for this is because I saw white as a beauty standard. Turn on TV, white girls. Go outside, white girls. Go in school, the ones I found attractive, white girls. Why didn't I like black girls as a child? Well, I just saw them more as like closer to family. They're like closer to like me, and that's not who I'm supposed to be attracted to. Looking back subconsciously, that's how I saw it as a kid, but I wouldn't be able to put it into words when I was that age. That's just how it was. When I would have interaction with the black girls, a lot of times they were often rude, mean, sassy, but since I wasn't really trying to get them, I was just kind of like, well, whatever, I guess that's how they are. At that age, it didn't really matter to me at all. I didn't find any black girl attractive until I was about 12, so middle school age. The only reason that this happened was because I started to become pro-black. And when you're pro-black, you know only black men can be with black women and black love, that type of thing. So I was like, okay, so now I have to be with a black girl. So now we're going to get into the dating side of things. I'm not going to go down a whole list of bad experiences. I'm just going to summarize it by saying that I never got anywhere with any black girl. Most I got was like a date with one person or one little thing with one person. And when I'm going through this, I'm thinking to myself, how am I not attracting any black girls when I'm pro-black? I call them queens, I see them as great, and I want them to build and, black love. Why is this not attracting any of them?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything wrong with them. I just think it's cultural. It's just 100% cultural. I don't think it's even wrong for people to have preferences, right? If black women in a general sense say, hey, that's not what we want. We want this type of guy or this type of guy that got swag or whatever it is that's happening at that particular time. That's probably because people have a herd mentality, and it don't matter if you black or you white or whatever like that. A lot of times, the person that's for you is not a general population of people. You just got to go where you celebrate it and not where you tolerate it. So, like for example, I could look at him and say, okay, it's clear that he either grew up in an environment where it was okay to have different cultures or listen to different music and all of that because communication is more than just what you say, right? It's body language, it's how you're saying it, it's what you say, what you look like when you're saying it. And he has on an Iron Maiden shirt. It's the first thing that stands out to me when he starts talking. An Iron Maiden shirt is something that the majority of black women in black culture is not even going to be familiar with. So the music that he listens to, which often at times influence everything else that you do, is not aligned with what most black girls would probably rock out with. You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, there's a group of white women that probably don't see this as dope either. But what people don't realize is that there's always a group, always a community, always a culture of people that more or less closely aligns with who you are. And that's when you start to have to go and celebrate where you tolerate. The problem in our culture is that because we identify as pro this or pro that instead of, yo, this is what my morals and my standards are, and this is what my mindset is when it comes to spirituality or whatever like that, because we align ourselves based off of what we look like, and because you look like a something, you know what I'm saying, the color of your skin is a certain way, you have to go this in this particular direction or something like that. It robs you of your opportunities and your experiences to experience life with people that more or less would appreciate what your mindset is, would appreciate what your taste in music is, would appreciate where you stand on a spiritual or moral level, because you are expected as a black person to think what the culture is telling you to think instead of thinking for yourself. And this is the danger of what happens when you start to align yourself based off of cultural norms instead of aligning yourself with people that just go in the same direction as you. So now you stuck between a rock and a hard place, because it's especially worse for younger people because they don't know how to break away sometimes from the noise, or they don't know how to separate themselves from people that have this expectation on them. It's a lot of people that grew up where your parents may have said something like, I don't care if you date them or even if you decide that you want to be around them and stuff, but don't bring me no white babies or don't bring no white girl home or something like that. And so that's normal. But that's not something that we talk about in our culture and our community, because then it would have to address the issues of bias and racism and all of this other stuff. So when he says that, he just never had an interest in black women because he looked at them as a sister or as his sisters, or he never got anywhere with them, I can understand what he's saying, simply because they just don't rock out no matter how good of a person you is. You can have great grades, you can, be on your way, you can be very smart and intelligent, but the things that younger black women may want, especially when you're influenced by what is popular and popular culture, it doesn't necessarily align with what it is that he's talking about right now. Let me hear the rest of what he got to say.
This is the point where my frustration started to come in, because I'm not just seeing it as I'm just trying to get some black girls. I'm viewing it as we need to come and build together, but none of them are wanting to do that with me. Around the age of 19, I just completely dropped this because it's not getting me anywhere. From then to the present, whenever I try to do anything with a black girl, I'm just like, this is probably not going to go anywhere, and I don't really like pursue it, or I half-ass it and it goes nowhere. It's kind of like we just weren't meant to be. If I never became pro-black, I wouldn't like them at any point in my life, most likely. If I'm being completely honest though, there are black women I'm attracted to, like literally right now. This wasn't meant to happen. I just explained my whole backstory with black women. So now how do I view them in the present? Well, I'll just say not very positively. So how do I view them just as people? Well, my experience now versus as a kid, a lot of the times they're still rude and just terrible people to interact with. I mean, that's just what I'm used to experiencing with them on all different levels. Like, no amount of pro-blackness or trying to see their humanity is going to change that. It's just my experience. It is what it is. This video I'm doing is not even an anti-black woman video. This is just my experience with them. It's a negative experience, but it's my experience. I know there's black men out there that have plenty of great experiences with black women on different levels, and good for them. I just can't relate to that. If I had good experiences with them, I could view them as good people that I have a high respect for, but unfortunately,
Well, I wish this young man the best, and I'm not sure if he's in a relationship with a snow bunny or not, but I don't really have any predisposition that prevents people from being able to date who they want to date. It's funny because even the requirements of what qualifies you to be pro-black is debated on a regular basis. So, for example, if you are married to a black woman, or do you have black kids, or because a lot of times, regardless of what you actually live and what you do for your community and the people that you hire and all of that, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is how people perceive you, right? Because then on the flip side, you can take a person that loves snow bunnies and probably have kids from snow bunnies. And what the community will do is that it will justify it and say, well, but technically the kid is black because they got 10% blackness in them and all of this other stuff. And, it's all of these special rules and different things of what it takes and actually, in order to be accepted by the culture and the community. But what I would tell this young man, because clearly he's still a young man, is again, to marry who likes you, to rock out with who likes you, to date with who likes you. And you know what I'm saying? Stop placing color above, above character. Stop placing color above character and start living based off of what makes the most sense, instead of living based off of whether or not other people have an expectation of you just because you are black. Because even if that, like, they still not going to accept you, they still not going to rock out with you. I think that people use you for their narrative and then they discard you because they don't really rock with you in the first place. So, anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T10 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. I want to know what y'all thoughts are on this.